For this is I posted one before, but this is the second one. So I'm also, in addition to doing right now it's Tuesday evening, 30-minute long leadership coaching session, I'm going to be doing a Friday 5-minute kind of recap for everybody. So if you happen to miss the 30-minute session this week, I'm sorry. You probably have had a horrible week. Maybe not. Maybe there's not a correlation there. Either way, here you go. 5 minutes to kind of recap the lesson for each week. So if you can't catch all 30, you can pick up with these and run with it. So this week was about inspiration. Last week was about restraint. I'm always going to be expecting you guys to be setting a goal of some type of action step to be able to take the concept or what comes to mind as we're talking about these things and putting that into action. So for me, restraint last week was my phone. Hold it too much. It's in my hand all the time. It's distracting. So my goal was to not have it carried around all the time, which was a win. The previous week on was it ambition? My goal didn't really come through the way I wanted to. It was still good. So that's a reality. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose on those things, but it's being aware of what's going on. So either way is that expectation when you bring to the table saying, I want to do something, and I either do or don't do it. The other thing I always wanted to challenge you guys to do, and this is a little shorter, so we don't have as long of a time to build community like we do on a 30-minute call, but what are wins and failures? What are successes and things that you're disappointed about in the past week? So big win for me. First helicopter ride, which was awesome, and it was with the sheriff's department. It's super good. Some stressors at work. That's my thing going on. I'm sure you have your own things. If you want to share those in the chat, you can on the bottom. Otherwise, just go ahead and you can message me or keep them to yourself. But I encourage you to share them with someone. So the link for this week's lesson will be here on the video. I'll post that after the video is done going live, so you can look at that. As always, you can go and check that out. All right, so inspiration. Hope deferred brings sadness, but when dreams come true, there's life and there's joy. So there's a lot of different things connected in this lesson. The idea that we get the best from people when they're feeling inspired. You do your best when you feel inspired, and there's reasons why that doesn't happen. One of the key things is fear. Fear just destroys. Fear destroys creativity, which destroys your ability to be inspired. And when people are fearful, they're not going to give their best. You're not going to give their best. So it's in your best interest to be at your best, and it's in the world's best interest for you to be at your best. It's in your employees' best interest to be at their best. And if you're managing them, it's in your best interest for them to be at their best. That's just a reality. That's what you want to see happen. So how do you get there? You have to eradicate fear in yourself. So fear is it's a structure aspect, and it keeps people from hopefully flying off the rails. And that's what laws are for. But they don't inspire. They don't lead to greatness. They just keep us from destroying ourselves, hopefully. So that's fear's purpose. So if you're motivating yourself, or you're motivating and trying to motivate others through fear, you're not going to get the best out of them or yourself. So stop it, right? Don't do that. The idea that we want to, and it talks about it, communism is labeled in here. The idea, you can try to stifle people's creativity and individuality to get them conformed to a process and everything. Once again, you're limiting what's possible. You're limiting some great things. Like, think about when you're inspired, right? You're not generally in some constrained space. Generally, you're out free. You're out hiking. You're in the woods. You're in nature. You're alone, or you're in a group, but you have freedom, right? Because there's that creativity starts to work. So anyone can be creative. Most times people are not creative because of fear. They're fearful that they can't be. Isn't that ridiculous? Like, I'm not creative because I'm afraid that I'm not very creative, or I'm afraid that I won't be good at being creative. So deal with some of those root issues and that'll come about. So when you're inspired, different talents and gifts are going to merge. No one's the same. People have to be free to leverage those types of things. So less controlling of people and giving people space to create and see some amazing stuff happen. So possible ways to do that. Write down your vision. That's my personal goal plan for this week connected to this lesson. Is there's business goals, there's personal goals, there's family goals that we want to achieve for my family. Write it down. Maybe buy an RV. No, my wife does say no. Okay. So live out that vision. You got to convey that with people. Have people hold you accountable to it. Say, hey, I know you want to do this. So why aren't you doing it? But either way, you're gonna have to fight for it. That's your Friday 5-minute lesson recap. Have a great weekend.